You're not just a healer. You are a new paradigm warrior who is here to blaze a trail that the world hasn't seen before. You're here to be an industry leader, and you're here to do something that's wildly different than what's going on in the marketplace right now. And you have felt these deep nudges in your soul since you've gotten nudges to start your business that you're someone who is meant to amass wealth in a God-centered way, in a universe-centered way. Either way, this is a heart-centered way. And so this video is for you because, again, you're not here to just build a transactional healing business. You are here to blaze a freaking trail. And so you're going to want to watch this video because I have so many pieces in here in order to help you understand how that's going to happen, how you're going to tap into the magic. What we're going to be talking about today is soulmate clients and specifically specialization. Because specialization as an intuitive and a healer is the key to magic, velocity, and so much more in your business. Because right now you're likely feeling capped around the 5 to 10K month. This is usually within the matrix amount. And this is where people come to me all the time. They're right in this period where they're like, I know that I should be making mid-5-figure months and beyond. And I don't know why I'm feeling this glass ceiling in my business. So if you are feeling this glass ceiling, no matter what you do, you feel like you have clients that start to ping in, but then they don't fully ping in. You just can't quite get there. And either way, maybe your calendar is super booked and you're still just around 5 to 10K months. You feel tapped into these higher numbers. That's meant for you, but it's almost like there's this like imaginary barrier. And then you sit here, you're like, what are my messaging's wrong? Like, how can I make my words more perfect? Or, what is it in my energy? What's wrong with my energy? It's like you're constantly like diving into your energy. I have some cats behind my screen, so if you see me pushing something, it's my cat. But so that being said, this is not a sign that something is wrong with your energy. Energy work is crucial, messaging is crucial, but if you find yourself like psychoanalyzing these things and ping-ponging and not sure what to say, it just means that you're not tapped in with your soul audience. And the way that you do that is by specialization. So first I'm going to get into specialization. We're going to talk about soulmate clients and all the things. And I'm going to talk a bit about my story as well. So I initially started my business doing intuitive readings. And I kept feeling this like explosiveness of income. I knew that I was someone who was meant to amass wealth in order to share it with the world, do projects on the planet and all these things, and do it in a really heart-centered way and be a heart-centered beacon of wealth. This was something I tapped in with before I even started my business. I had all these very clear downloads. And so I'm doing my readings. Of course, there's a sense of like building your audience. It takes time, learning things, but I literally hit 1K months for over a year. I think there was one moment before I fully dove into my soul audience where I had like a 2K month. And this was like me hustling, showing up, TikTok lives, all these things. It was not magnetic. People were bargaining me, just all these really crazy things that I didn't really understand. I didn't understand why I couldn't make the money because I was working from an old paradigm. And the whole time I started to meet with clients who felt super magical. I would have these clients who were prospecting healers and lightworkers who would come to me and then they would want to keep working with me. And so this was the universe dropping me some breadcrumbs of what I was supposed to be doing. And so that being said, long story short, I had a series of epiphanies. I had some mentorship who helped me kind of suss this out. But that being said, when I dropped into my soul audience, my business rocket launched. I say that it was like a rocket took off in outer space and I was holding on. Basically, my business went from 1K months, jumped right into a 5K month, a 6K month, and then 20K months, 40K months. And from there, I've been around 20K months. And so this is the magic of soulmate clients and creating velocity in your business through specialization. So again, if you're feeling this glass ceiling, you're kind of like, why can't I get there? There's this like, a lot of times I'll say it, it's like you feel where you're supposed to be in your business and then you feel this like heart gap in your heart space. That is a sign that you are not tuned in with your soul audience, that your core messaging pillars need to shape to your soul audience. And this is when you will literally feel such a change. I've taken multiple clients through this who've been in their business for years, if not 15 to 20 years for a few of them, who literally exploded overnight into 30K months, into 10K days, and all these things after years of being around 5K months, maybe 10K months. This is the magic. It wasn't that they needed to do more, it's that they needed to speak to the correct audience. And this isn't an audience that you find from here. It's an audience that you find from here. And these are all the pillars that I work with clients on. But so the magic of specialization, we got to really tap into this, because what happens is healers come into the space, and this was me too. And we go from this like modality focused thinking. I don't talk about modalities on my page, but I do Reiki. I do, somatics. A lot of my work is channeled. I do intuitive readings for people. But that being said, I don't talk about that. Specialization is specializing your gifts for a very specific type of client and a very specific outcome. A lot of times that outcome will be something that's tangible, something you can literally have, or that literally changes in your life. It's going to be money, career, love, etc. So that being said, specializing your gifts means that you just focus and laser focus on a specific topic, a specific situation, a specific outcome, and a specific population. And when you start to speak to that, you start to bring them in. But the thing is, for instance, if I were to try to do love readings and do relationship coaching, although that is actually something I have been feeling nudges for in the future, that's not my soul audience. That's not what lights my heart up. So there's a few indicators here that you're in the correct specialization. It's going to tap you into a life force energy that you can feel in your body. Oftentimes I have people sink into this and they literally feel this sense of like zap. It's like an electricity. A lot of times it will come up as fear. There's going to be fear. I felt fearful owning this path of helping people in money. That felt insane to me. And now looking back, I'm like, this is exactly where I was supposed to be. But that being said, it's going to tap you into this like Eros energy, this life force, passion. And this creates an insane amount of velocity for multiple reasons. Not only is this your rocket fuel in your business, as long as you keep moving forward, it is this continuous rocket fuel. It's why they say this path is, it's like there's different paths, and you're on the path when you have the one of the most resistance. Honestly, you're going to feel like things are being thrown at you, because that's how universal energy works. That's how you are going to be prepared to be the person you need to be to hold the clients and hold the wealth. And that's when you're truly on the right path and you're truly on the expansive soul-led wealth path. And so this creates a lot of velocity for multiple reasons, not only because of the energy that you get zapped into, where you feel like you're on a mission at all times, but it also creates velocity because when you laser focus on a specific type of transformation, you get to go 10 times as deep with clients, if not more. The more I go, the more specific I get, the more specific person I'm talking to, and the more income comes in my business, the more magic happens. When you start speaking to your soul audience, you start to have people, and this is what I teach on my pages, is turning your social media into a soulmate client portal. And so the more specific I get and the more I use these frameworks in order to turn my social media into a portal, the more my business explodes. I actually went through a period of time of getting even more specialized, and I'm like going through this second explosion right now, and I can't wait to talk more about it. But so that being said, you create an insane amount of velocity, because when you laser focus on versus like this, it's like a generalist at a hospital. When they focus on all the things, they can only help with so much. I'm going to be honest, like generalist doctors are so important. And that's the thing. This is not shitting on anyone who's a generalist. This is not meant to be something that is negative towards generalists, but you're not a generalist. You're a specialist. There are people who are meant to thrive as generalists, and there's people who are meant to thrive as specialists. But so a generalist is going to cover all these things, and they're going to be more above the surface. It's not that they can't get deep. A generalist in a hospital can somewhat help you get deep in certain regards. But that being said, a specialist, neurosurgeon, heart surgeon, that's deep. That is a significant transformation. And that creates an insane amount of velocity and an insane amount of desire for your services. Because that's the thing, as a spiritual specialist, your work is unlike anybody else's. As a spiritual specialist, You're not learning a certain type of surgery like a heart surgeon or a neurosurgeon. You are creating your own path. There's going to be people who helped you get on your path. I've worked with mentors to get to where I am, but now I'm blazing my own trail as a soulmate focused client or mentor. There is no one that talks about soulmate clients the way that I do. And that's the magic. You have something, and if you're being drawn to this video right now, you have something that is meant to be siphoned out of your work. Like, you have a specialty that the universe is leading you towards. And the thing is, you're going to get really well paid for this, because think about it. Heart surgery, that's expensive. Same with having like a brain surgery. So when you laser focus on a specific transformation, people are going to pay you more. Your work becomes way more in demand. And especially as you start to create your own playing field, as I have, you're the only one that people can go to for that type of work that you do. There are plenty of business mentors and really talented ones, but there is no one that talks about soulmate clients the way I do. And there is no one that can get you the results in the way that I do with soulmate clients. That is the magic of the specialist path, because especially, again, as a spiritual specialist, you're not, again, following this cookie cutter path of surgery. You are creating your own playing field. And this is what is going to blow you up in the online space. It's going to create your social media into a portal. Your work is going to be in high demand. Of course, there are so many pieces of your energy. There are pieces of your marketing. And, this is what I teach, is like influence, putting this all in your marketing and using your intuitive psychic gifts in order to summon your soulmate clients and find them. You have to be the one to keep moving. You have to be the one to keep upgrading, and you have to be the one that highly values your work, because you're the one that creates the gateway. But that being said, when you create your own playing field and move this way, over time, you just become a household name. You become an industry leader. And so this is the key of the soulmate client. You have an audience flood of clients that really wants to work with you right now, but you have to be the one to summon them in. You have to be the one to say yes. And it's going to feel scary. It's going to feel intense. When I got thrown on this path, I literally could not believe that I'd be helping people with money. When I first got thrown onto this path, I'd probably made about $10,000, but I had learned some key things that I was meant to start sharing. And when I did, that's what developed my whole formula. And now I'm here and expanding and scaling it. And so this is what happens when you tap in with the Soulmate Client Foundations. Your life will never be the same. That glass ceiling will be a very thing of the past. And this is what turns God and the universe into your bank account, because they want to bless you for your work. They want you to be doing the work on the planet. And so you saying yes to this audience and messaging to them, not only is that a portal and an initiation for you, it is your opening to your biggest blessings in your life. This is the magic, guys. So that being said, if you're feeling the pings to this path, I am opening a group program right now. It's going to be open on June 10th. That is absolutely like my life's complete work. This is going to be the most next level group. I'm also running a workshop. If you're seeing this right now, I'm going to have it in the bio or in the description of this. There is a workshop starting on the 19th of May. If you're watching this like years in the future or whenever you're watching this and you're like, what the fuck? Who knows where we'll be by now? But that being said, I know that I'll have offerings for you. I also do offer private one-on-ones, which are actually so next level. So that being said, guys, the specialist path is summoning you. And are you going to take the call? Are you going to answer the call? It's an initiation. Your brain's going to tell you all these things about it, that it's limiting and all these things. But when you answer that call to that intuitive knowing in your heart, your life will never be the same. That glass ceiling will be a figment of the past. So that being said, if you're meant to be here and you're seeing this right now, I can't wait to connect with you.